Okay, thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Emmanuel Barrett, who's going to introduce our speaker for this morning.
Mr. Eric Austin is a native of Cincinnati, Ohio. He received a BS in Computer Engineering from Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. He currently works at Procter & Gamble and is an executive marketing professional, leading some of the world's most successful billion-dollar brands. His career has awarded him a breadth of experiences and skills, more notably with on-the-ground international work in Geneva, Switzerland, leading P&G's electric shave care business. In his current role, he's responsible for P&G's enterprise digital media strategy, influencing nearly $1 billion in media spending annually. He's a recognized expert in the digital media industry, but is also an advocate for driving diversity and inclusion awareness, and responsible for development of the film The Look, which sheds light on biases that exist towards black men. Mr. Austin also serves on the board of trustees at Bethany School and coaches youth athletics across multiple sports. And just a reminder about the event this evening from 4:30 to 6 in Pfeffer. It's okay to fill out the form. It'd be great to have you there, or if you need to show up late because of sports. Now let's welcome Mr. Austin to the podium.
Good morning. I will say, in my first interaction with Emmanuel, we just met a few minutes ago, but we've been texting and been on calls. And when I pulled up in the Uber and saw the campus and went into the administration building and meeting Dr. Boyd, meeting the class that is studying the civil rights era, to just seeing you guys here. It's very impressive, and you should be proud of the school that you're here at, and every touch point has been a memorable experience. So just want to say thank you in having me here. But good morning, Montgomery Bell Academy. My name is Eric Austin. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. As Emmanuel alluded to, I'm a marketing professional at Procter & Gamble. We call ourselves brand builders at the company. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about how P&G and the many of the brands that are at P&G is taking a stand to drive change in society. We call this citizenship, and I'll go over that and what that actually means. But we've been experimenting this for many years, and you may have seen some of the work, but as of late, we've taken this to greater scale. But before I get started, Emmanuel did say I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, where I grew up, and that's where P&G is actually headquartered. But one of the things that I noticed on the schedule is that Cincinnati, I'm a big Bengals fan, and Cincinnati and the Titans are on the schedule this year, and we got, well, at least hopefully the Bengals don't do anything stupid and not take Joe Burrow. But it looks like we're on the schedule this year for a game, so I know we're going to have a torn household because my wife is from Tennessee, but looking forward to that. Actually, I went to Tennessee State University, there where I spent 5 years here in Nashville, and I received a BS degree in computer science and engineering. When I left Nashville, I moved back to Cincinnati to work for Procter & Gamble. And Procter & Gamble is the headquarters, Cincinnati is the headquarters for, the international headquarters for Procter & Gamble. When I moved back there, it is the biggest employer in Cincinnati. Growing up there, I never thought I would come back to live in Cincinnati after leaving Nashville, but I've had a really good journey there at Procter & Gamble. We'll go over that a little bit. But let me give you a little bit more. Here's a picture of my family. This is my wife, Terica. She's from Jackson, Tennessee. We met at TSU in engineering class. We both interviewed for P&G when P&G came down on the campus of Tennessee State University. And we both moved back to Cincinnati to work. It couldn't work out any better. But we both started working. We got hired a few weeks apart. And we got two boys. Braden, who's a freshman at Summit Country Day in Cincinnati. That's him playing freshman basketball. And Braxton, who's my fireball, as you can see. I think he just had a loose ball that he got, but he just screams it about everything on the court. So that's my little fireball there. But that's my family. I wanted to introduce them. Is pretty much my priority in my life. But I also want to tell you a little bit about my career. I can't believe it's been well over 20 years since I've been at P&G. And people say, wow, you've been at one job that long? But really at P&G, we switch roles or jobs every 2 to 3 years. So it feels like you're actually in a new job. And time just really flies past there. But I actually started my career in IT, given my computer engineering degree, which was at the time called interactive marketing. And I remember going around to the brands, tin cupping them and say, hey, can I just get a little bit of money so you can build a website? And they're like, why do I need a website? Right? So I'm dating myself with that, but that's what it was back in the mid-90s when the internet boom actually started. But I actually moved over to marketing. P&G, which you'll find is a company of research and development, R&D, and marketing. So I moved to marketing in 2005, and I worked in the hair care business on the Pantene brand and the Head & Shoulders brand. And then I went to hair color, so go figure. A black guy working in hair color, talking to women every day about the effects of color in their hair. But I actually had an opportunity to move the family to Geneva, Switzerland. So I lived in Switzerland for 3 years, working on our shave care business for Gillette and Braun. Very, very rich experience for me and the family. My oldest son came back speaking fluent French. He's probably losing a little bit of it now, but really had an opportunity to see Europe, so it was a rich experience for my family. But I moved back to Cincinnati. All roads come back through Cincinnati since that's the global headquarters to start working on Olay. And then I moved into this media innovation role where I set the enterprise strategy for digital media for P&G. So I work a lot with Google, with Facebook, with Amazon, and building out media strategies. So myself and my team probably influence nearly about $1 billion worth of media on an annual basis. But I also have the opportunity to work on some very cool initiatives to reinvent brand building and infusing diversity inclusion into in helping brands reach consumers in new and unique ways. So this is P&G. We are the world's largest advertiser of 65 brands in 10 categories. How many people see some of the brands that you use every day? Let me see a show of hands. Outstanding, outstanding. So I wanted you guys to keep using it, to keep my stock price going and keep it up. But we do have a very vast portfolio of 65 brands. Let's see, did it turn? Yes. But every day, P&G touch about 5 billion people on the planet with our products and our advertising. But the traditional methods of connecting with consumers is getting harder every day. And consumers have a much broader choice of brands that they can connect with. P&G spends on average close to about $7 billion on media every year. So that's a lot of money across all of those brands. Consumers are demanding more time, and they want communication that's more relevant, more useful, more interesting to them. And ultimately, they want to know what your brand actually stands for. Being a part of consumers' lives isn't just about providing tangible benefits through products. It's about understanding consumers' broader concerns, including issues like inequality or bias. Those are problems that go deep in society, and P&G has an opportunity to shape the conversations around inequality and around bias and around sustainability. Consumers today are putting their faith in companies and brands to ignite change in society. We actually see through our research that consumers have a deeper relationship with brands when they stand for a societal or an environmental cause. And you can see here in the numbers and some of the research that we've been doing, 71% of the consumers are wanting companies and brands to actually take a stand. P&G brands want to lead the charge in doing the right thing. Our goal is to use every opportunity we have, no matter how small, to set change in motion, to be a force for good and a force for growth for the world, for everybody, and the generations to come. At P&G, we see this as a citizenship initiative. And these are the 5 pillars of our citizenship. This is baked into the culture at P&G and is actually transcending into the fabric of the brands, the 65 brands that you saw on the previous screen. It's a strategy focused on ethics, gender equality, racial equality, environmental sustainability, and community impact. This strategy is being built into the core and how we operate within P&G, but it's starting to be built into how brands connect with consumers and grow their businesses. We want to essentially be the best at building brands for all consumers. But what does being the best really mean? We started with a commitment to accurately portray consumers in all of our advertising. That means ensuring representation, of course, but more importantly, never stereotyping, never diminishing, never misappropriating, and always trying to reflect the unique and relevant cultural insights to tell authentic stories to consumers. We want consumers to say, "You know me." Old Spice is a good example. For many years, we thought the advertising was appealing to Black consumers, which we thought, sorry about that. Went back. Old Spice is a good example here. For many years, we thought advertising was appealing to Black consumers, which we thought was hilarious and over-the-top humor. It was actually funny to some, but not to the Black men. When we did our research and the brand started declining in sales, we tapped into what was actually going on. We found that a whole Black community, we were losing share in sales amongst that target. Many Black consumers thought that the humor in Old Spice, remember the Terry Crews? How many remember the Terry Crews? They thought that humor was sophomoric and kind of like frat boy humor, and it did not really connect with who Black men were. They wanted to see Black men accurately represented as sophisticated and smooth, but not harsh and loud. Who remember Isaiah sitting on a horse? Remember that commercial? That commercial was winning because it represented kind of the tonality and what Black men actually saw. But when we moved to Terry Crews, the business actually went down. So we found an insight that he wanted benefits like moisturization in his products, but then he added some fun tension into the storyline. In general, guys aren't great at sharing their stuff, including when it comes to their personal care products. But what did the brand do? They wanted to, it was a team that created a relatable drama, and they looked to inspiration like TV shows like Insecure and Blackish. They hired Millicent Sheldon, who's the first female Black director on Old Spice. So this was a first for that. And she brought along her castmates, Gabrielle Dennis and Thomas Jones, to work with the lead Dion Cole to create this film.
We need to talk.
What would you like to talk about?
Take a guess.
What is it? This is what you want to talk about right now. Why?
Why? Because you make me share everything, that's why.
Well, it's not something I actually enjoy doing.
Really? Well, you take extremely long showers, getting super soft skin. What is there not to enjoy?
Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing what? Using my Old Spice moisturized with shea butter body wash?
All I wanted was to use your body wash.
And all I wanted was to have a body wash. Men have skin too.
It's empty.
I wonder why. What are you doing?
I just got some new Old Spice body washes for myself.
Those aren't for you, those are for me.
Relax.
Relax?
With lavender.
Look, this Old Spice stuff, it's for men.
This body wash is for you.
Yeah.
No, I thought...
What are you doing? It's for men.
No.
Previously on Men Have Skin Too.
Those aren't for you, those are for me.
This body wash is for you.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for calling the store. This is Chet. How can I help you?
Hello. I just bought some Old Spice body wash from your store.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, aren't they just for men?
Hold, please.
Hello? Hello?
Sorry, I should have said something.
Then say something now.
These are for men.
Men have skin too.
All right. Actually, after that, this has been airing over the last several months. That video has 240 million views, and the business is up 11% a year ago. So when you get the insights right and you portray people in the right tone, this is what happens on the business. The Secret brand has been around for decades, but for many years, consistently excluded black women in their ads. So they didn't think the brand was for them. The brand decided to deliberately focus on black women. They look for women who represent all strength, no sweat mindset, and who have overcome obstacles that had made them sweat, but instead stepped up for betterment for all women. Not surprisingly, they partnered with Serena Williams to be the brand ambassador who will take a stand on achieving equality for women, even in all sports. The results have been outstanding for Secret and growing amongst black women and the total brand. So this is a piece of advertising that's pretty fresh. I'm not sure if it's even hit the air yet.
I'm not the first to win a Grand Slam tournament.
I'm not the first to bring home an Olympic gold medal.
I'm not the first to start a clothing line.
I'm not the first to win a basketball world championship.
I'm not the first.
I'm not the first.
But because of the strong, talented, and motivated women who came before us.
Because they refused to sweat their critics and naysayers.
Because they showed us our strength is what we decided to be.
Because of the sweat they put into becoming the first, I certainly won't be the last.
I certainly won't be the last. Secret. All strength, no sweat.
We also joined forces with the creative world of filmmakers to engage and inspire people with powerful storytelling. We launched a 6-episode series called Activate, which aired in 172 countries. It's a unique partnership with National Geographic and Global Citizen that tells stories and efforts to eliminate extreme poverty around the world, with actions from Always, Head and Shoulders, Tide, and Charmin. But this is where P&G is now integrating the brands into cause-related marketing. I think Tide, actually, given the tornado that hit Nashville, you might see the Tide Loads of Hope van that's actually in the city helping some of the victims of the storm.
A world without extreme poverty is not just a world that's more peaceful. It's about having the opportunity to succeed, to flourish, to do all the things we want to do.
We feel that our brands can really make a meaningful difference to people around the world.
It's important for us to share the change that's happening on the ground.
We wanted to really shine a light on the core issues so that we create positive conversation to have meaningful impact in society.
With the donations of sanitary pads, the Always Keeping Girls in School program unlocks the potential for girls to participate in education.
Now we can go to school and be confident about their future.
The power of clean water is transformative for families and communities.
We're
the world's largest advertisers, so we understand that the images that we put into people's homes impacts how we see each other.
We want to do our part to help communities by giving people back the small comforts that are really meaningful to them.
We appreciate all that y'all did.
Just like the sun, it just lifted the spirits.
For many years, people have been treating the ocean like a dump.
Could we create an innovation that could take that waste and be able to turn it back into something useful?
When you see an FSC logo on a Charmin package, you know that we are working with suppliers in a sustainable way.
What's encouraging is that progress is being made, so that's something to celebrate.
It's our ambition to make all Head & Shoulders packaging 100% recyclable or reusable by 2030.
Consumers can make a tremendous impact, but we need to work together if we're going to be successful.
At P&G, we aspire to create a world for everyone, a world free from racial bias, with equality representation, equal voices, equal opportunity. Bias is universal and inherently human, and can be an obstacle and a barrier for inequality. It comes in many forms and affects us all. Dialogue about bias, whether it be conscious or unconscious, leads to greater understanding and ultimately provides a path to ending its harmful effects. Creating a more equal world through our latest effort, we are encouraging everyone to talk about bias. This next film is an Emmy Award-winning film called The Talk. It illustrates racial bias from the viewpoint of African-American mother who has conversations with their kids as they enter into society.
Who said that?
The lady at the store.
That is not a compliment.
Listen, it's an ugly, nasty word, and you are going to hear it. Nothing I can do about that. But you are not going to let that word hurt you. You hear me?
There are some people who think you don't deserve the same privileges just because of what you look like. It's not fair. It's not.
Remember, you can do anything they can. The difference is you gotta work twice as hard and be twice as smart. Come straight home after practice. You got your ID? Yeah. In case I stop you.
How's your review?
We're good.
You good?
Yeah,
You see?
we're good.
Okay. Good. Now, when you get pulled over,
I'm a good driver. Okay?
baby,
Don't worry.
this is not about you getting a ticket. This is about you not coming home.
I'm gonna be okay. Right? Okay. It's not fair. But you keep showing up.
You are not pretty for a black girl. You are beautiful, period. Okay? Don't ever forget that.
The Look is the next chapter of Procter & Gamble's efforts on bias. This captivating two-sided story was inspired by reality, with each scene re-encountering the experiences of many men of color in America. This campaign broadens the narrative to boldly show both sides of bias, the cause and the effect. Our hope is that we all gain perspective that will lead to a deeper, richer conversation of understanding of human behavior as it relates to bias. Here's the look. Through community conversations, leveraging these short films, we hope to raise the awareness and understanding for bias that persists in America today and encourage people of all backgrounds to show up for one another in quest to end all forms of bias. While the look is just one story, we recognize there are many, many stories and experiences out there. This video alone will in no way represent a complete solution, but we do hope it'll spark some seeds of conversation and dialogue and eventually change. So there you have it. These are just a few examples how P&G is taking steps to raise the bar on citizenship and build the best brands for all consumers. We want to have accurate portrayal of our consumers in ads and films that are insightful, relevant, authentic stories that fuel conversation and fuel culture. I hope these few films have given you a good understanding of what P&G is about, and hope it inspires you to think and operate inclusively to drive progressive change in culture and society. Thank you.